cybersecurity for us as an organizations today is the most talked about topic, right from the board level to everybody in the organization. So I think as in terms of a governance, how a company needs to look at in terms of cybersecurity as a posture is most critical. As you rightly said, this is a journey of this posture which needs to be implemented within your organizations. So I think no specific one example can work with all organizations, and everybody would have a variance in the story of the security that is implemented for their organizations. And that's very, very, very clear, because if you look at what is emerging is the context of how to protect yourself at the best and with the best of the tools is only for you to implement within your organization, and you need to chart that journey. First is the accessibility layer into identifying what is implemented and not implemented. And also to look at what is the must-haves versus good to have. I think that is very, very important. If you look at situations where if you identify in your journey that these are the certain things which is good to have, because you have a plethora of tools available in the market. And these tools sometimes as a CISO, CIO makes you really confusing to identify what should be the journey that you should take, and probably what could be the differentiator value, because everybody is adopting because you or your friend is adopting is not the story that could be aligned to your implementation journey. So I think the Security 3.0 clearly specifies into the 5 clear areas, which is very, very important. One is to identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. I think these 5 are the mantras for you to, everybody for us looks at, and especially I as leader for my company looks at in a very, very detailed manner. Especially the 5th one, recovery. If you see organizations go into a attack of any kind, the 5th is the most important one. And 5th was also one of the most missing links in organizations where recovery or the backups were not planned at all. So I think in your stage of implementing, one has to look at these areas very, very cautiously and very minutely in terms of looking at it. So when you talk also about 3.0, we are talking about detailed discussions and not a holistic overview discussion which happens normally at any discussions. What we need to get into is the ground level situations. One of the weakest point in 3.0 and probably not taken earlier is the network security. That is a dimension shift of changing. Probably network security is one of the most important key layer. Identity management is also another biggest point of contention in 3.0 that probably organizations should concentrate on. And probably, as you said, Kapil, this is a journey and there are a lot of new things that are coming up. Simple things like operating on the latest level of Windows, operating on the latest patches are some of the basics that one can do. And certain things are lacking in the organization. Another thing which is very, very important and lacking is awareness within your organization and what are you doing as leaders in tech. So the awareness today is not just sending information over an email and saying, just have a look at it. After having look at it, can you do some assessment? Can you conduct a small sort of a quiz that could also have a good amount of recall from the end users, because a lot of threats emerge from the end users themselves. So I think identify, manage, look at recovery as a point of view, awareness, which is very, very important, training and awareness, which is very, very critical. I think these sends the benchmark of 3.0 as a future, and probably these will continue remaining. And adoptions of cloud platforms has also told us that look at those instances where you don't take it for granted, because most of the cloud players don't look at security as an angle. I know of instances where people have implemented cloud, but security is the last topic that they have looked at in terms of implementation. So I think 3.0 is going to continue evolving with a lot of directions set, which are minute in nature, instructive in nature, more detailed in nature in terms of discussion. And probably one of the last thing which is originating 3.0 changing is the AI story coming up, and especially the generative AI enterprise models, which will now start getting implemented within organization, will actually change the dimension of security, because you are going to consume a lot of data, and a lot of generative AI strategies are on cloud, very less of them on premise. So these are some of the thoughts of my end, and the last bit on that is open source technologies, which are also some of the things I am developing things on, and it is of my keen interest.